And we're back, and it is time for the ElseWords. This is our big topic. Basically, a story that I've picked out that I figured, hey, we might get a little bit more out of this, talking about this separately. And that is Netflix plans to release 80, that's 80 original films in 2018. That is more than a movie a week.
And all of them are Adam Sandler films.
Actually, the first one that they mentioned is the Will Smith starred, I think is what they had. They have star Bright.
No, they,
Which,
they mean star. He's starring in the film, so
yeah.
he's the starer. Bright, yeah, which looks really good. It looks like something that should be coming out in the theaters. It certainly seems up there when you go back to when he was the last human alive in the world full of vampires.
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. Yeah, it certainly seems to be of the same quality of that, although looks even more interesting because it's a mix of fantasy world and real world cops. So it's kind of like what was the Alien Legion was the TV series that had, it started as a movie with James Caan and Mandy Patinkin and then became Alien Nation. Thank you, Pete. If you ever have the chance, Gregor, go watch the movie Alien Nation, and then if you want to, you can try to follow it up to the TV series, which was also really good. And unfortunately way too short-lived. But it's kind of like, it seems like it's that, except with fantasy stuff as opposed to like elves and orcs and things, as opposed to aliens.
But so the cool thing is, and they talked about that. They released 8 original films in Q3. Those included Death Note, and based on the popular Japanese manga series. Angelina Jolie's First They Killed My Father drama about the Cambodian genocide. Naked, a romantic comedy featuring Marlon Wayans, and the anorexia drama To the Bone starring Lily Collins. The interesting thing with this is they plan on ranging anywhere from the $1 million Sundance hit all the way up to something on a much larger scale, like the Will Smith starred Bright. I believe that's why I believe it's starred, is because they were comparing it to the bigger budget movies. The other side of this article is that a lot of the movie chains feel like this is still Netflix trying to eat their lunch, because with how they do their deals, they still will release the movies in theaters, at the very least in more art house theaters, to where the movies then qualify for Oscars and all these different awards, and then release them the same day and date as on Netflix as they do in the theaters.
Right, which is a silly rule to still have in place. We're going to have to see the breakdown of that rule at some point. The movies only count if they've shown up in the theaters. The Oscars have a lot of growing to do this year anyways, but that's going to be something that I think will fall off eventually. When we're seeing the Emmys have realized that the streaming services are bringing highest quality content, just like HBO has done for the past several years before that. They know that it's not just being on broadcast TV that makes you a TV show. At some point, the Oscars will have to do the same thing and realize that just because you're not in a theater that people pay to go to, you can still qualify for awards because you are making quality content. It's a weird loophole to have to step into.
Yeah, like honestly, I look at this and I'm thinking, okay, this is great. Obviously they have the money. Also because they raised the prices on Netflix. For me it's $2 for the 4K, for stream 4K content. But at the same time, I look at this and I'm going, you know what? There's a lot of the stuff that I watch on there that I love. There's a lot of stand-up specials that I watch. Those aren't that expensive to make. There's some of the TV shows that they're either co-producing with another like over in the UK or in some other market, or they're partnering here to have the exclusive rights to where it's then broadcast as Netflix originals around the world. I'm looking at Riverdale and Better Call Saul and Pretty Little Liars was that like that too. It's one of these things that I look at this and I go, I'm perfectly okay with this, because Netflix is going to have a gap to fill. I mean, like you said, with Marvel pulling, earlier with Disney pulling their stuff out of Netflix, that's going to leave a lot of movies that people aren't going to be able to watch. And, for some of these movies, you can go, well, you can watch this, but Netflix has just as much, if not, just as good movies over here that would fill that same niche. Do you want to do this other service, or do you want to do what you've been doing for a while?
Yeah, and the other part of it is that it's not just enough to have some great content, but when you have 80 movies planning to come out in a year, now not all those movies are going to appeal to every single person, but with that number, it's likely that there's going to be at least one movie a month that you're going to be like, oh, I really wanted to see this, and it keeps you subscribed to Netflix. Whereas, you might be an HBO watcher specifically for Game of Thrones and one other thing, and then the rest of the year you're like, I don't really give a shit about HBO's content, or I can catch up on it when I go to watch Game of Thrones again. So I pay for my 2 months of Game of Thrones to get all those episodes as they're airing, and then I watch everything else on the channel at the same time, and then I back off again. Netflix having this amount of stuff, it's like, oh, I was going to stop after I finished watching, like right now, watching Mindhunter, but then they're bringing me Stranger Things right after that. And, oh, well, crap, as soon as I finish Stranger Things, this Bright movie's coming out. And so they just know now there's something that's going to continue. Like Punisher is coming up. Yeah, exactly, Beat. There's so much stuff that you can't live without it. You feel like even for the $2 a month price hike, it's still the level that you're getting is worth it. You look at the Movie Pass thing that they were doing that is $10 a month to watch all the new movies that you want, except with the caveats of one a day and no IMAX and all these other things that are a part of it. Well, $10 a month for still a movie a day is pretty damn good if I utilize it all the time. And that's the same thing with Netflix. If I'm utilizing it, it's a great deal. If I'm not utilizing it, if I'm not getting content out of it, and that's what happened with Netflix for me with the DVDs, is I would sit there and have a DVD on my fucking mail thing for 3 months, and I paid more than twice what the cost of the DVD would have been to buy it, and never watched it. And hopefully send it back at some point, or lose it and then have to pay for the DVD anyways. So it's the, what is my first go-to when I turn on the TV? At this point in time, because of cable, I turn on the TV, and my first thing is I look at what's live real fast, and then I look at my DVR to see what we have stocked up. But after that, my next thing is probably going to be to go to Netflix. And you want to be in that position. You want to be everything that I'm interested in right now, or at least the biggest amount of things I'm interested in are in this place. Whereas there might be a show that I'm interested in on Hulu, or there might be a show that I'm interested in on Amazon Prime, or there's only one fucking show that anybody gives a crap about on CBS streaming at the moment. And even that's kind of playing with who gives a crap about it, right, Pete? But yes, at this point in time, those are the also rans to it. And that's what Amazon had said recently. We did this story about them too, is that they're looking for their Game of Thrones, which is great. If you can get your Game of Thrones, excellent. But you need a lot of content. You have to have a lot of things for people's eyes to get drawn to. Because it's, once you're here, how do we keep you here? That was the Facebook thought process. It's like, hey, you're in Facebook. We never want you to leave. We want to Hotel California your fucking ass and just keep you pinned down. First of all, Facebook, consent matters. And second of all, just like, I don't know that the content on Facebook is ever going to be that compelling. It's only compelling because it's your friends and your family, and you feel maybe obligated sometimes. Netflix brings you compelling content, and some of it may not be the greatest stuff in the world, but it's still the stuff that's like, oh, well, maybe I'll see what this One Day at a Time remake series is like, and oh, it's actually pretty good. And oh, I'll give a couple episodes of this Ashton Kutcher thing a try. Oh, it's not for me. But it kept you there. That hour that it kept you there and kept you engaged. It's like, it's not that the quality wasn't good. It's just that it wasn't your kind of show. Or maybe the quality is really bad, like that Richie Rich show. But you're just like, but I know, what were the odds that I was really going to get something I wanted out of a Richie Rich show?
Yeah.
So you move on, but here's 40 other things of the stuff that you liked, and that's where all that thumbs up and thumbs down made a lot of sense for a good long time. And the recommendation thing, and Comcast does that too, but I don't think they've landed that algorithm nearly as well, and they don't have the same supply of stuff to you, because it still relies on content providers and wanting pay for it and stuff. And Netflix is like, if you're here, all of this is yours. You know, come with me into a world of pure imagination, and you eventually get sucked into the pipe.
Also, I should point out, full disclosure, I do work for Target, who has the exclusive deal for Stranger Things merchandising. That is a Netflix program. Sorry, I just looked at the end and it said, at the end of the interview, Hastings and Sarandos pulled on Stranger Things themed light Christmas light sweaters, tub thumping for a season 2 premiere on October 27th, as well as promoting the company's merchandise deal with Target for the show. Which I got to say, there's a lot, like quite a bit of the stuff that I do like with their whole all their merchandising stuff. I like the fact that the season 1 Blu-ray is in a VHS. Like
it looks like a classic VHS case, yes. Yeah.
And like complete with the it's like a box inside of a box, because you actually pull up, and then it's the VHS tape you open up to that has the discs in there. I'm like, that's pretty sweet. But yeah, it's basically what I've been doing is answering phone calls like, no, we didn't get any more of the Stranger Things Funko Pops. Word of thing, you gotta buy all of them. You can't just buy the Chase variants. Come on. I wanted to say that so many times to people, but it's just like, don't be a dick. You know, just like, just tell them, come in here, buy all the 11 dolls, you know, the Funko Pops and all that stuff. Anyways, I digress. No, I'm honestly excited for this because honestly, I didn't like Netflix also with the whole thumbs up, thumb down thing. I'd seen for a majority of Q3 advertising like, oh, you'd like, you know, Naked, which they're probably right, because, you know, I do like Marlon Wayans and I like, you know, his comedies. I liked his show Marlon. I don't know if it got renewed or canceled. Probably got canceled, but I had not heard of, you know, the Angelina Jolie drama or the Lily Collins drama. Like, I had heard of Death Note, you know, and see things about it, but I've also heard, you know, bad things about Death Note, so I'm like, I'll skip it.
Well, I feel like a lot of the stuff we heard about the bad stuff about Death Note had to do with the fact of the choices that they made in casting and stuff, and basically Americanizing what was originally a Asian property, and then there's certainly things to be said for that argument, but it's I don't quite consider it the same thing as having a property based off of a book or something that has primarily Caucasian characters anyways, and then you're one person of color, they also make Caucasian. That to me is worse than what you're saying. Or when you have a Caucasian actor or actress playing a person of color in your movie, unless it's Robert Downey Jr., because that was just hilarious. I get why people had a problem with it, but it was still really funny. The other thing is, what I didn't even realize is that Netflix's first original movie was the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon sort of Destiny, the
Ang Lee sequel movie that was also produced by the Weinstein Company.
Yeah, but that was just February of last year.
Yeah,
their first original film was February of last year. Was a sequel, but was just a year ago, or now almost 2 years.
Wait, wasn't Beast of No Nations, wasn't that a movie?
I don't know, but according to the article here, their first original film came from the Weinstein Company. So it #me too, and it was a sequel. It was this one. So they're saying that it was released in February of 2016.
Or maybe Beast of No Nations is it's like Lilyhammer, where a lot of people don't think of it as being the first because it's like a co-production or something. I don't know. All I know is because I've had for a while Beast of No Nations in my list thing for a while, but I don't know. I mean, it's honestly, we're gonna get more original movies, which probably means more original ideas from creators that we wouldn't get ideas from them. Can I tell you what I really hope this is? What I really hope we get from this, and it's to get back on the Thor Ragnarok, Taika Waititi thing. If we could get the movie that he's been talking about working on, the werewolves, the answer to what we do in the shadows from the werewolf side.
Yeah, the sequel.
The sequel. If we could get that on here as one of these, now it probably wouldn't be 2018, but on Netflix, or even they talked about doing through the police department that is in New Zealand while this is all going on as a TV series. I would love that.
Or the Shaun of the Dead sequel
that got debunked the next day.
Oh, I'm sure it did. It doesn't make any sense. It couldn't be a sequel at all. We went from a world of zombies to a world of vampires, but From Dusk Till Dawn sounds very funny, and it's a great thing to play off of.
Yeah, it's one of those like where we get basically, if we can get with this where we're either getting, actually, this is one of the things I would love to see. Netflix take the Hollywood blacklist, the movies that, like, the scripts that were the best movies that never got made, that didn't get made that year, and they start making them.
I don't want to see anything that specific. I just want to see them continue to be brave in what they do, and allow filmmakers to be brave in the way that they've let showrunners be brave, and saying, we know that you make great content. We trust in your ability to do that, in your mindset, and we just want to invest in you to continue to make great art, and in return, you let us have it. That is the dream of, I get paid to make the stuff that I love, and I get an outlet to then show that stuff to other people. That's great. It's sort of an erasure of barriers that Hollywood seemingly has. I'm completely an outsider. I don't have a lot of industry background or anything to be able to back that up. But yeah, it's another film studio, but it's doing things very differently.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. And it probably doesn't involve massages in hotel rooms. So that's good. God, I hope it doesn't. I really hope it doesn't. I'm as excited as I am about any potential movies, because there could be great movies and there could be shit movies. Mm-hmm. Again, I reference the Adam Sandler thing. Is none of the stuff that he's doing is interesting to me, but I appreciate the fact that Netflix is letting him do it because it's interesting to somebody. And if all they were doing was that kind of stuff, I would not be a Netflix subscriber. But there's doing stuff that is interesting to me as well. More content is always better as long as it's various and reaches to as many different types of audiences as possible.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess, like, I got nothing else to add to this. I mean, just because I'm excited, to see what we get. Basically, what I'm thinking is they would have to have 40 films either wrapped or wrapping filming right now, and then the other 40 starting, like, in pre-production, to have this all, because they said 80 films in the calendar year of 2018. That's a lot.
Or they could just go ass heavy. It's just like everything on December 24th. Merry Christmas.
For more on this Galactic Network podcast, go to gncast.com. That's GNCASTS.com.